You don't.
Not about to let my little bro f the money out.
I know that.
I love him.
I know that.
Keep this back. Cause they gonna give me like 200, 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole plan.
NBA YoungBoy has just ripped the mask off what he claims is Birdman's true nature. Behind the public image of a loving mentor and father figure, YoungBoy says there was a cold, calculated scheme quietly playing out, one that left him feeling betrayed, used, and financially taken advantage of. What once looked like family turned into one of the most painful exposés in modern hip-hop history. And the truth behind what caused their relationship to collapse is far darker than anyone expected. What's good, fam? Today, we're diving deep into some real industry politics that have been shaking the hip-hop world to its core. This isn't your typical rap beef or social media drama. This is a story about manipulation, broken promises, and a young artist finally finding the courage to speak his truth. Now, let's keep it real for a second. Social media has been on fire ever since NBA YoungBoy dropped Tears of War, a record where he seemingly calls out Birdman for allegedly using him behind the scenes. But instead of running with rumors, we're here to separate facts from fiction, what's real and what's just noise. June 9th, 2024. That's the day everything changed. While under house arrest in Utah and fighting federal charges, NBA YoungBoy released a 6-minute confession that sent shockwaves through the culture. This wasn't impulsive. This wasn't clout chasing. It sounded like years of frustration finally being let loose. And before anyone writes this off as another diss track situation, understand this. This runs way deeper than music. We're talking about a young artist who trusted someone like a father, only to slowly realize he may have been getting played the entire time. Here's where things get uncomfortable. Birdman has faced these accusations before, and his most famous fallout was with none other than Lil Wayne. Back in 2018, NBA YoungBoy was one of the hottest rising stars in rap. Streaming numbers were crazy, fans were locked in, but his legal issues made him risky. Atlantic Records didn't know how to handle him. That's when Birdman stepped in, presenting himself as a guardian angel. In the industry, when someone like Birdman, the architect of Cash Money's billion-dollar empire, shows interest in you, that's supposed to be a blessing. But this wasn't just a business move. Birdman was selling something deeper: family, mentorship, loyalty, and protection. His resume made it believable. He helped turn Lil Wayne from a kid in the projects into a rap legend. He played a major role in launching Drake into global superstardom. He helped make Nicki Minaj the queen of rap. So when he told YoungBoy, "You're next," it felt like destiny, not marketing. For a young artist from Baton Rouge who'd survived loss, violence, and trauma, that promise meant everything. Birdman positioned himself as a father figure, offering guidance and security, and YoungBoy bought in completely. Their early collaborations, like We Poppin', showed real chemistry. When they announced From the Bayou in 2018, it felt symbolic. Louisiana royalty passing the torch. Publicly, Birdman praised YoungBoy as the future of hip-hop, defending him and promising to help him navigate the industry's darkest corners. But behind the scenes, things weren't adding up. And the biggest red flag? Lil Wayne had already warned him. On his 2020 track, Multiple Flows, Wayne rapped, "I had told YoungBoy to watch out for old head." That wasn't a throwaway line. It was a warning from someone who had already lived this story. Wayne and Birdman's relationship followed the same blueprint: love, loyalty, and mentorship at the start, then silence, control, and betrayal when money entered the conversation. Wayne once called Birdman his father. They had matching tattoos. Their families were intertwined. But when Wayne tried to collect what he was owed, everything fell apart. The relationship ended with Wayne suing Birdman and Cash Money Records for $51 million in unpaid royalties, a legal battle that exposed cracks in one of hip-hop's most powerful empires. Now, the question everyone's asking is simple. Was NBA YoungBoy just the next chapter in the same story? The lawsuit exposed a disturbing pattern: payments allegedly being withheld, album releases mysteriously delayed, and promises quietly broken. The man Lil Wayne once loved like a father was now accused of playing him all along, using emotional loyalty as leverage while millions that should have gone to the artist stayed elsewhere. What looked like family, Wayne claimed, was really control disguised as love. And this isn't just about one artist's bad experience. This points to a much bigger issue: a systematic approach to exploiting young talent. According to critics, Birdman's playbook has always been simple but effective. Find a young, hungry artist with undeniable talent, step in during their most vulnerable moments, offer family, mentorship, and protection, then lock them into an emotional bond. Once that trust is secured, control becomes easy, and that's when the money starts getting cloudy. The streets have been whispering about this pattern for years, but most people didn't want to believe it. Why? Because Birdman's success stories were loud and visible. Yes, he helped create superstars, but the real question is, at what cost? And who truly benefited the most from those relationships? When From the Bayou finally dropped in December 2021, after multiple unexplained delays, a lot of fans noticed something didn't feel right. The project sounded more like a YoungBoy solo album with Birdman's name stamped on it than a genuine collaboration. Birdman's actual presence on the music was minimal, yet his name appeared in the credits, meaning he was still getting paid off YoungBoy's work. And here's where things take an even darker turn. According to industry insiders, Birdman allegedly acquired YoungBoy from Atlantic Records for practically nothing. At the time, YoungBoy was facing serious federal charges, and Atlantic had already written him off as a lost cause. Rather than fight for him, they cut their losses. Birdman, on the other hand, saw opportunity. In a conversation with DJ Academics, Birdman openly bragged that he would have paid anywhere between $10 to $20 million for NBA YoungBoy, but Atlantic didn't charge him a dime. They were done with him. They was tired of him, Birdman said. That's some cold-blooded business. Let that sink in for a minute.
Not about to let my little bro the money out.
I know that.
I love him.
I know that.
Keep this back. Cause they gonna give him like 200, 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole plan.
While Birdman was telling YoungBoy he loved him like a son, he was publicly celebrating the fact that he got him for free, like he'd just caught a steal at a clearance sale. Let's be real for a second. That's not how you talk about family. That's how you talk about a business deal. And that's exactly what YoungBoy was to Birdman in the end. Not a son, but a valuable asset. By the time 2022 and 2023 rolled around, YoungBoy started seeing through the illusion. Those promises that once sounded so powerful began to feel empty. The father figure energy that pulled him in slowly revealed itself as control, and the unconditional support he believed he had, that turned out to be conditional the moment things got real. For anyone who understands the culture, this kind of betrayal cuts deeper than any street beef. This wasn't about money, clout, or territory. This was about trust, loyalty, family. YoungBoy had opened himself up to someone he genuinely believed cared about him, only to realize he was just another piece on Birdman's chessboard. By April 2024, YoungBoy had hit his breaking point. Federal agents had just raided his Utah home. He was facing serious charges, and the one person who was supposed to ride for him, the so-called father figure, was nowhere to be found when it mattered most. That's when he recorded Tears of War, the final track he made before his arrest. What really shook people wasn't the accusations, it was the vulnerability. This wasn't a diss track full of threats and bravado, this was pain, disappointment, heartbreak. When YoungBoy rapped about how Stunnin' never really loved him and admitted he should have listened to Carter, Lil Wayne, you could hear the weight in his voice. That line hit different because it marked the moment YoungBoy publicly accepted that he'd been outplayed by someone who'd been running the same game for decades. Wayne tried to warn him, but YoungBoy was young, hopeful, and caught up in the promise of what could be. Admitting that you were wrong, especially in a culture where vulnerability is seen as weakness, takes real strength. YoungBoy chose honesty over pride, and that's not easy. The song painted a grim picture. Allegedly, Birdman dangled massive opportunities in front of YoungBoy that never materialized. He inserted himself deep into YoungBoy's personal life, crossed boundaries, and used emotional leverage to keep control. It was the same pattern Wayne had described years earlier, just playing out with the new generation. And then there was Birdman's response, or lack of one. No diss track, no public denial, just silence. And sometimes silence says more than any rebuttal ever could. Either the accusations hit too close to home, or Birdman knew that engaging would only expose more than he wanted. But this story is bigger than just YoungBoy and Birdman. This is about how the industry operates every single day. Young artists, especially those coming from trauma, poverty, and instability, are easy targets. Industry veterans know exactly what to say, how to position themselves, and when to strike. The formula is always the same. Find artists when they're young, hungry, and vulnerable, offer them what they're missing, guidance, protection, money, or love, gain their trust completely, then use that trust to maintain control while the financial benefits lean heavily in one direction. This kind of exploitation isn't rare. It's the foundation the industry was built on. The difference now is that artists have platforms. They can speak directly to fans and expose what used to stay hidden behind closed doors. YoungBoy speaking out wasn't just personal, it was a warning. It showed how important it is to have real ones around you, people who can recognize game being run even when you're too close to see it yourself. And that leads to the bigger question. How many others went through this and never spoke up? We know about Wayne, we know about YoungBoy, but how many artists were chewed up, controlled, and discarded before they ever reached their full potential? At its core, this story isn't just about a bad deal. It's about power, loyalty, and the price young artists pay when they trust the wrong people. It's about an industry that hides exploitation behind words like family and mentorship. Now here's the twist nobody saw coming. By August 2025, YoungBoy and Birdman had reconciled. The beef was squashed. Birdman even joined YoungBoy on the Make America Slime Again tour. Some people called it growth. Others saw it as history repeating itself. So the questions remain. Did Birdman really change, or did he just talk his way back in? Is this a genuine second chance, or the calm before another storm? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Tears of War put the truth out into the world. It exposed a pattern that goes far beyond one relationship. And once that truth is out, it can't be erased. Now it's on the culture. Will more artists speak up? Will the industry ever hold powerful figures accountable? Or will this just be another cautionary tale we forget until the next artist gets played? Let us know what you think. Was the reconciliation real or a mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to keep breaking down the stories they don't want you to hear. Stay solid, fam. And remember, everyone who calls you family doesn't have your best interests at heart. Sometimes the closest people are the ones running the deepest game. Peace.